This is the Ring of Honor, a.k.a. Shane T, boy, the baddest champion you ever seen, boy.
This is Mr. Anderson.
This is good old JR Jim Ross, and you are listening.
You're listening to Knockouts and 3 Counts.
Cover! We got a new world champion!
That might be one of the craziest knockouts I've ever seen in my life.
Knockouts and 3 Counts is the podcast, baby! It's the real deal, baby!
Knockouts and 3 Counts starts now.
Ooh, what up, though? How you like that world premiere type shit over here on Knockouts and 3 Counts? We're looking real fancy and snazzy over here, getting all done up right during quarantine. Shout out to Zabstract Studios over there off the Fiverr app of all places. But thank you. They created our last intro. They created this one. I don't know, man. I think that's a pretty badass way to start a show with a guy who's got a lot to talk about. So, how y'all doing tonight, gentlemen? We've got the return of Brett, Big Dog Martin.
How we doing?
Hey, man, I can't complain, man. I'm breathing. Yeah, I just got done slinging the mail, eating some taco ring. It's a typical Tuesday night.
Heck yeah, I feel you.
Hey, Corey, how you doing, man?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in there. Running off, unfortunately, not enough sleep because I have a strange addiction to video games that run late into the night.
Yes,
Except your bitch ass didn't give me a rematch in MLB the Show, but that's a story for another time.
If we want to go there on the show, I don't want to bury you on the show, Kyle.
I mean, look, Weed Guys Fried Chicken does that to people, okay? Weed Guys Fried Chicken does that to people. You don't got to throw nothing under it. We can blame it on Weed Guy and his damn fried chicken, all right?
That's hilarious.
Oh,
so
man.
now that we can explain what happened, that's because a buddy of ours who is the proprietor of Weed Guys Fried Chicken. I lost to him when we were playing in a 4-man tournament on MLB The Show, so I lost to him. Then I played against his brother. I struck him out 25 times. 25!
Oh, that's ruthless.
25 strikeouts. He had 2 hits.
Still lost.
1 base hit,
And
the other one was a home run, and I fucking lost. So,
Hey, I can relate to that because I got some wins on my record that are like that. You can say what you want, but you still lost.
No.
hey, I was a man of my word, and hence Weed Guys Fried Chicken is the sponsor of Knockouts and 3 Counts. Now, if any businesses that are watching or listening to this are looking to sponsor a podcast, or hey, maybe sponsor a fighter, and Mr. Brett Big Dog Martin, I mean, hey shoot me a line, shoot him a line.
Right there. See, can be with these people. Oh, there it is.
Oh, wait a minute. I got one of those too. Wait a minute. Shout out to the boss, Myron Malaki. So tell us about that, man. You've obviously made some news. Tell us about the transition to XFC, why XFC, and, how long have you been planning on coming over to XFC?
Like I said, man, there's no real transition. You know what I mean? I've known Myron since Myron worked with KOP back, I'd say, 2019 or 2018, maybe even. Shoot, it might have been 4 years ago now. But back when I was an early pro, we had rocked some XFC gloves and bad boy gear, in a KOP fight. And they talked about maybe crossing the promotions at some point. But, that never happened. And then obviously XFC disappeared. So I just kept building the brand. And early COVID, Myron had messaged me saying that XFC was coming back. So ever since then, we had kind of been in contact. And with me taking the Bigfoot fight, it kind of jeopardized my situation being able to fight on the XFC's first coming back show, like with Kenny and all those guys when they did the tournament. But like I said, I had went to the tryouts, and met, the other guys that are working and some of the, like the announcer, the broadcasting crew, just some of the other people behind the scenes, and just kind of showed face because I think we knew then that I'd be signing a contract at some point as long as it made sense. So Myron reached out a while back, and things came to fruition, and we locked in a fight. So just excited.
Corey?
Now, is this a one-off or is this a tournament bracket or how's
No,
this?
no, this is super fight, but it's a
Okay.
3-fight deal.
Okay.
So yeah, 3 fights.
I like it, man. So my question is, what are your thoughts on? Do you know much about the talent that they're bringing in for the heavyweight division for XFC? And if so, what are your thoughts on the competition you're going to be facing over here?
My guess is, man, they're gonna build it off me and Chris. You know what I mean? Like that's the only thing I can really think about. You know, they've never had any heavyweights fight for them. I think we're the first heavyweight, like, fighters that they've ever even really brought up. You know, because in Brazil, they never really had any heavyweights. I don't believe so. I don't care, to be honest. I don't mean to say that in a bad way.
Yeah.
I'm here for me, man. Whether, I think in another interview somebody asked me about belts, and yeah, dude, that's cool. I'll hang another one up if that's what it comes to. But I'm here for 3 fights, man, and it's my money's laid out. You know what I mean? What I need to do is planned, and dude, I love that shit. You know what I mean? There's nothing more beautiful than that being me. You know, because I work a full-time job, and I need to know when I got money coming and going, because I got some other things I'm building behind. My other than my fight career, because we all got to retire at one point in time, and I'm going to do it the right way and make sure I got plenty of other things rocking to take care of my people. So like I said, man, I'm just here for me and my family, you know what I mean? So all that other shit about who they're bringing in and all that, I'm past all that now, dude. Like, once I sign with a promotion that I know will take care of me, all that UFC and all that bullshit about, I'm going to be a world champ, all that shit goes out the door, man, because, they haven't showed me no respect, so why would I show them any? I just don't care.
I like it, man. That's the attitude. That's the attitude that I like to see going into these fights, man, because I feel like you've said, I mean, we talked about it with James Lynch. I mean, and I appreciate you sharing that clip out, which you can check that out if you haven't already done so. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and go check that out in the archives.
I'll learn next time to put my right tag right here instead of just my name. I like how y'all did that. I'll remember that next time.
See, COVID's been having to teach me how to I've been having to learn how to do everything, dude. I've been learning how to make stuff look all pretty, put the fancy little overlays on here.
Like it all looks
good, it's got the social medias on the side, and that badass new intro that you saw there. I mean, hot damn, dude, we're trying out here. I mean, shit, we're still running out of the room upstairs, but I mean, hell, we're not doing too bad.
I keep sharing stuff, man. That's why I share it. I appreciate you guys as much as you appreciate when I do that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, helps me a lot, and then obviously, it at least makes me feel like I'm doing it right. At least some people agree with what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, what it is, dude, is, I mean, it's, people having people's back at the end of the day, man. Like, I told you this from the first time we brought you on the show. We'll rock with you till the wheels fall off because you've given us your time, and been cool with us. Like I said, that's just how we roll over here.
Hey, and that's the
wins, losses, it don't really,
Same way over here. I ain't in this for nothing other to take care of my people, and I love meeting new people and having friends and just having a good time. And if a fight comes with some money and stuff, then hell yeah. But just the friendships and stuff I've grown from this. What I've done for other people's career, man, money can't buy that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? People dream to do half the stuff I've done with just fighting, let alone my high school career, my middle school career, I sat down and really thought about it the other day and was just like, man, why you even be upset about anything? Because people can talk all they want, but dude, I'm a state champion. I was a middle school state champion. I was a team state champion when I was in middle school. I was, all conference football. I was, honorable mention football.
I feel you.
I mean, everything, dog. So it's like, at the end of the day, man, I've lived such a good life, and I just turned 27. So it's like anything I get outside of my normal life, taking care of my family and working a daily job is a blessing. So I just don't care anymore. I'm not going to let it stress me out or say I deserve this over this person or that. I'm just past that, man. And you see these guys signing, you know what I mean, guys that they say are going to help compete at the top of the world, and I'm just not with it. You know what I mean? That's why I'll fight guys like Chris Barnett all day because I know he'll show up to the fight. So that's all I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, I've questioned it myself with some of the signings, especially like you alluded to with the UFCs and the Bellators and stuff like that, the higher name organizations and stuff. And yeah, I've seen some of the guys, especially in like the heavyweight division and shit, and you're like, come on, man. I know somebody that could fit that slot a lot better. You know,
Yeah,
like
most definitely.
yeah. So you kind of alluded to it. So what's the aspirations after the 3-fight deal? Of course, you want to be successful in it. You want to make a good living for your family in the meantime,
Right.
and stuff. But this is still something you plan on doing throughout your future.
Yeah.
A
Oh
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
So
Until I
what's
can't no more. You know what I mean?
what's the greater goal still? Because you're
I
saying
mean,
you're
obviously,
kind of not as
to keep getting
interested.
Yeah. Definitely just to keep building the ranking. You know what I mean? No matter what website it is or what promotion it is, to be the best in the promotion. Make sure everybody's talking about me. You know what I mean? At the heavyweight, as a heavyweight, and if not just as a heavyweight, as a fighter in general. You know what I mean? And not just me, my team. You know what I mean? The people I roll with, my crew. You know, we're trying to, my management company, the whole kit and caboodle over here in Michigan. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just trying to put me and everybody else on the map and let people, maybe I'll be the one that people noticed that changed the other guys that come behind me get treated properly or start making that money that they deserve a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, maybe the politics will sometimes stop, but I doubt it. You know what I mean? They're always going to be there. So I'm just another clown in the clown show, I guess you could say. You know what I mean? In this MMA game. But like I said, I don't care. I just like money. So as long as I don't want to say I like money being greedy, but I need money to do what I need to do. You know what I mean? So as long as the contracts are right, you know what I mean? You're not offering me the same types of things for the same types of fights. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'll stay as loyal as I can. You know what I mean? But obviously, if nicer contracts with tougher fights come in, then we'll be having discussions. But right now, there's none of that. You know what I mean? I'm having a hard time even getting guys to show up to fights, as I just said. So I'd be lying to you, you know what I mean, if I said I had guys, they say they're waiting at the door, I'll fight him. Even I'm sure 100 guys will comment on this video tomorrow and be like, oh, I'll fight us. He ain't that good. I'll fight him. But at the end of the day, you got to get your medicals. You got to get your blood. That's why I say it's professional fighting. You know what I mean? This ain't a street fight. If it was a street fight, bro, I'll slap you around too. But, I'm saying this is professional fighting. So I don't make posts. I don't do these interviews and say these things for anything other than just proof. You know what I mean? Like 10 years down the road and I'm sitting here with my kids and they want to know, hey, Dad, how did you get through these tough days like today? And I'm like, man, watch this video right here. Or, you look up my name, dude. You can check. I've had this history since I was young. You know what I mean? So I just don't ever want to give up, whether that's 27 years old or 47 years old. Whether I'm doing jiu-jitsu then or fighting, you know what I mean? I just don't ever want to be known as somebody that gave up based upon, what other people thought.
Yeah. Well, you had
Shout out to
brought it
Bobby
up, too.
Nash over here in the comments talking
And
about.
that's what a lot of people don't know. Me and Bobby go way back. Me and Bobby have been wrestling with each other since we were, high schoolers. So it's awesome to be on a car with Bobby. That's dope. That's dope. Real dope.
Well, and I want to clarify something for anybody who's listening. Corey asking, what are you thinking after 3 fights? I mean, that's not to say that you won't stay with XFC, because XFC, from everything I'm seeing and from what we talked about with Bobby, which if you didn't get to check it out, you can check out our interview with him on the YouTube channel or anywhere else.
That's her.
But that's not to say that XFC isn't taking care of people as well, because you're here and no, I'm just trying to clarify, because I know you're not saying that you're not happy with XFC either, because that's something that we talked about with Bobby when they're talking about, like, instead of giving guys cash bonuses, you're getting shares of a company. I mean, that's not something that you normally hear about. So, I just was clarifying that for anybody who's listening, whether that's on all the podcast platforms you can check it out on or whatever. Yeah,
and I want to say, you know what I mean? XFC is talking about doing shows all over. You know what I mean? So one way to get me on your side is like, hey, man, you want to do a 3-fight deal? We'll give you 2 fights in the Midwest so you don't got to take a bunch of time off of work. You know what I mean? And you can slide in for a couple days and fight and slide out. Shit, that's worth 10, 15 G's to me right there. You know what I mean? Because right now I'm running into issues where I fight this 28, Jamal fights the 12. So I got to use all my vacation time and try to swindle my work, my work schedule all around to be able to be there for my people. You know what I mean? And that's why it's hard sometimes. But, I just bite down on my tongue and just grit through it. Because like I said to my wife today, it'll make it when I can do that with no questions. It'll make it that much sweeter. You know what I mean? So you just got to keep doing what we're doing right now.
I completely can relate with that, with us trying to travel around to go do these things. I mean, you saw that we just sponsored that show out in Texas and things like that, man.
Yep.
Like, that shit don't come easy, dude. You aren't able to, I got to use vacation time to go do all that stuff. I got to,
Yep.
like, I got to work and swindle my way around doing my things, like, just like you said, man. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and that's, I think, the thing that sets you apart from a lot of the guys that you're going to step in the cage with, is because you've still got that 9 to 5 grind, on top of the grind that goes into being a fighter that most people will never see, whether that's, getting in shape for the fighting, whether it's the sparring, whether it's the wrestling, whether it's the jiu-jitsu,
whether
it's
it's
just
to the gym, bro. Like
exactly.
That's a
That's all the stuff that people don't see on top of the regular stuff that everybody else has got to do. I feel like that's why, you getting this opportunity to be, like you said, maybe the spotlight for the heavyweight division for XFC. I feel like that's what's going to set you, apart from anybody else who's going to be in any sort of tournament for XFC.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, it's an awesome spot to be. Like Kyle kind of had said, it wasn't like I was bashing XFC. I actually see him as a real up and comer in the game of MMA. You've kind of been able to see it. I know that was a question that you wanted to bring up with PFL, Kyle, but you had kind of seen it actually over this last year and since the PFL's got going. But since COVID's kind of started to lighten up, you've seen a lot of these other promotions start to actually gain some traction. I feel like this last year of 2020, everybody's kind of more ready to consume more entertainment, and I feel like XFC is perfect for that slot. You've seen what they were able to do last year on NBC, and I feel like now that they're over here on Fox Sports, I feel like they're going to be able to turn that momentum that they had started to build last year and really take that off tenfold this year. So I'm not at all.
Yeah. No, and the way they're going about it with the tryouts, you know what I mean? And to be honest with you, starting in the Midwest, they're real smart because this is where the UFC is not paying that much attention. I mean, let me look at the facts. I mean, Cody Stamann was 16-1 or 15-1 before he got the transition over to the
Extreme Couture.
UFC. You know what I mean? So we're starting to get some guys. You know what I mean? See Chaos and Jamal. We're a little bit early in their career, but there's still a lot of guys over here. I feel like, you know what I mean, that should get a little bit more spotlight. You know what I mean?
I agree completely.
And that's why people feel like I make this about myself, but no, man, I'm about everybody, and that's where a lot of people I think get things twisted with me. Is like I say I'm here for me. Like I'm not trying to be your friend. Like, don't take nothing personal and try to be like, oh, you hurt my feelings, because you ain't gonna get nothing out of me. But if you think I'm not, moving for everybody here in Michigan, you're crazy, because that's what it's all about in the end. Is if I make more money and this guy makes more money, that means everything in Michigan MMA wise is making more money. So that's what we need to be building.
Well, you mentioned the other Michigan guys, man. What are your thoughts on the other two Michigan boys who are going to be going to war on the card with you in, like we said, past guests, Bobby Nash, who we just had on again recently, and Austin Bashi, who we just had on before the last Young Guns event. What are your thoughts on their fights, and how do you see those fights going?
Oh, I mean, you already know how I feel about my guys. You know what I mean? I ain't going to say nothing. I to be honest, I don't really know the guy Austin's fighting.
Have you ever seen Street Beefs?
I don't think so.
The YouTube channel?
Oh,
my goodness.
Yep. The
He's fighting a guy that was on Street Beefs and got signed to Anthony Pettis' joint.
Okay, good for him then. No, but I like Bashi. I've only met him a few times, like I said, but just the mindset, he's such a good kid. His attitude, he's so humble. I mean, he's ready to scrap. Like, there's nothing more you can say about the kid. I mean, like I said, I'm sure I'll get to know him a little bit more now that we're fighting for the same promotion. And that's why I say I love that, because, anybody that I can maybe get some knowledge for or pass some knowledge to, or, I heard his brother's a good dude as well, or even just get the chance to train with, just like back in the old high school wrestling days. That's why I said that's what makes this so beautiful, is I get to do this. I call it kid shit all the time to my wife. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is my kid shit. Like when I got my belt, or because to be honest, it's kid shit. You know what I mean? This isn't what real folks deal with. You know what I mean? It's kid stuff. You know what I mean? It's a dream. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm lucky to do this. Yeah, you make a bunch of money and people make it like it's this big ass thing, but at the end of the day, it's kid shit. You know, we got police officers out here dying, people living on the streets. Like, that's real life. You know what I mean? This is all, you know, like I said, COVID woke a lot of people up to what kid shit really is. So maybe people will finally start to relate to me why they act when people get crazy with this stuff. I'm just like, I don't care. You know what I mean? But yeah, I'd say definitely Austin's going to be as tough as he comes, you know, and the kid goes for finishes 24/7, and he's a grappler. I love grapplers, you know, definitely guys that are grapplers and strikers. And then, like I said, I've known Bobby too long. I mean, I wrestled his brother a bunch of times, you know what I mean? And those guys were always tough. There's 3 of them, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, if you ever crossed a Nash on the wrestling chart, you know what I mean, you already knew what you had coming for you. So, and he's shown it's the same in fighting. You know what I mean? He's fought at the pinnacle of the sport. And, you know, maybe I don't want to say he bit off more than he could chew, because that's BS as well. You know what I mean? Sometimes you land on the good side. Sometimes you land on the bad side. But how many guys you see go to the UFC and then they lose and they're done? You know, you seen Bobby his last fight come in here and knock a dude out. So nothing scarier than a guy that has been broke down and rebuilt himself. So if there's one thing I love about Bobby is, dude, the dude's always game, and I've seen him lose before in wrestling and come back twice as strong. So I love that he's doing it once again in a complete different sport, and you know, as a man now, you know, that's what makes it so beautiful.
You can really see the motivation too when you talk to him. You really can. You can see he's motivated.
Dude, the Nash brothers were, you know, off the mat is nice and is humble. You know, very respectful, funny. You know what I mean? A couple of them were quiet, but they were always really cool to us, you know, because Aspirations was a really good wrestling team as well. But dude, when it came to the mat, dog, they were, you know what I mean, locked down, just as serious as it came, and just competitors. You know what I mean? So you could put them in anything and they're gonna do well. You know, that's why, you know, and one of Bobby's brothers was living in Grand Rapids and training at Triumph when I was at Triumph for a while, you know, and I knew him from high school wrestling. So like I said, it's just so crazy how beautiful it was coming into MMA and seeing so many of the old faces and just reconnecting your life. You know what I mean? When, you know, sometimes you feel lost after college or college wrestling, you know what I mean? You just didn't know what you were going to do. You know, I had no future, you know, and that's what sucked for me. So this has all gave me, you know, a future. And even if it's just going to events, you know what I mean? Like, you know, obviously that's not the case, because I'll be fighting for a very long time. Ain't nobody getting rid of me that easy. But if that's what it had to be, then that's what it is. You know what I mean? And that's why I love it.
Well, while we're talking matchups, I do want to get your thoughts on Jamal Hill's 205 matchup against Paul Craig. Man, I love that matchup. I cannot wait. I've been hyped for this one before it even got rescheduled, man. I've been waiting.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. No. It's gonna be a sweet fight. You know what I mean? Just to be in the top 15. You know, this is what we live for. This is where you know, I mean, this is where like guys come to fight. You know what I mean? You don't run into those guys that after you hit them once they want to run, or you know, they stay away from Jamal, you know, his style. You know, these are going to be guys that are going to be in there, and they're going to test Jamal. You know what I mean? And that's what makes it so beautiful, because that's how we get better. You know, we figure out where we're weak, or, you know what I mean, where we're missing some things. And even if we win the fight and, you know, we are lacking in areas, that helps us get better. So I see Jamal just being too much, man. I think people sleep on how good his ground is. You know what I mean? And Paul Craig's ground's really good. Don't get me wrong. He's kind of I don't want to say he's a technician, because some of his submissions are like, you know, like we call it a desperation throw up, and it lands. You know what I mean? So you're like, whoa. But if you train that, you know what I mean? If he trains a lot of like letting people kind of get on top of him, then that's his game, and good for him. You know what I mean? But we'll be prepared for that. You know what I'm saying? I believe, in my mind, dude, I'm going to be one of the scariest heavyweights, you know, on the ground, period. You know what I mean? Like it's guaranteed coming. You know what I mean? Like the more you see me, the more you'll understand. You know what I mean? I don't do these things in the gym to average people. You know what I mean? So I'm in there with Jamal, you know, so if you think he's not evolving, you know what I mean? You're crazy. We wouldn't be working together if that's what the case was. So,
hey, man,
I just see him being too much.
What were you say, Corey?
Oh, I was just going to say, and what a better person to have on your resume than a Bear Jew.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
All right. Well, talking about resumes, you know, that's something else I wanted to ask you about. So obviously, if anybody pays attention to MMA news and all that stuff, there's been all the talk about Fabricio Werdum's debut in PFL. first of all, what are your thoughts about what happened, seeing as you had kind of the same fate with the same guy, when you had your first fight with LFA. So I wanted to know what your thoughts are on that fight and the decision to make it a no contest.
I don't know, man. It's just weird. I feel like there should be more done. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like that's like an accident happening. You know what I mean? I feel like he went from physically punching dude hard as he could, you know what I mean, very physically, to where he kind of stopped for a second and then tap. You know what I mean? I feel like that was pretty obvious. And then all of a sudden he's striking again. You're not talking about a guy's first time and, a language barrier and all this blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So maybe a no contest, but maybe he should be fined. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Don't even, if you're going to reach for somebody's face, I guess reach with a closed fist. I don't know how to put it. You know what I mean? But, you know what I mean? At least there's some kind of justice. Because like I said, back in the day, these guys get these W's and it never gets overturned. Or if it's a different state, some commissions don't even overturn it. So at least there's justice for Fabricio. You know what I mean? And only reason I posted once again was, just to make something later on in life. Who knows if I'm ever in the same promotion as this bum? And I say that because that's what he is. You know what I mean? If you want to do a dirty ass fight where we're just swinging at each other and we're not caring about what life is, and I'm cool with that. I mean, I'll sign the contract right now. You know what I mean? But that's not what we sign when we go into these fights. So I have to take you down a certain way. I have to move a certain way. I can't do this. I mean, if it's no rules, bro, I'll just spin you around, grab you by your head, and just set you down, like a gentleman, and get my hand raised, collect my check, and go on, because everybody knows I can do that. You know what I mean? Like that's simple. You know what I mean? If that's what fighting was, then I'm the scariest dude in the fucking world for fighting. Because one thing I'm good at is taking anybody down. I just took down Renan Fajeda, who Fabricio struggled to take down, but finally took him down. And I did about the same kind of thing when he was on the ground, got rolled. You know what I mean? So, and then, I took Daniel James down, who's known as a grappler. You know what I mean? So, in Parisian, I Parisian, took him down with ease, and his last 5 or 6 wins are all on the ground. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
It's like, people don't even understand, I don't think. You know what I mean? That's fine. Because, like I said, the more you see me, the more you'll understand.
Well, how big of a platform do you feel like how big of a platform do you feel like this is for you to finally be able to make the world understand? Because I feel like this is finally giving you the chance to get there and do that, because like LFA, I know we talked to you right before that fight and we were all saying, well, shit, here goes the chance for him to, get on the, the bigger stage with them being on UFC Fight Pass. And then that fight played out the way it did. So for you getting to come in here with the spotlight, I mean, this I feel like is giving you that shot that we've all been hoping you were going to get for a long time.
Yeah, and and I had it with LFA, and and it is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not mad about how LFA went, because like if you look at these Aljamain Sterling or these other situations that some of these guys in the UFC whose platforms are huge, they're dealing with all this animosity and stuff, and they've never dealt with it. Should I dealt with it as a low-level pro? You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, I got a crazy resume, man. If you really think about it, I got DQs, I got no contests, I got wins. You know what I mean? I got 5-round fights. I've been through. You know what I mean? I got, name a fighter that's got back-to-back DQ wins. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Because there probably ain't another one. You know what I'm saying? So like, to be honest with you, I'm the oddest ball of the oddest ball. I don't, you know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain it. So I don't want to say like, oh, this is another way for me to break out. I don't care. Like I said earlier, I mean, it is what it is. The LFA thing is what it is. I felt like with the Renan fight, you see a lot of guys, like I said, look how good he looked against Fabricio. You know what I mean? So that tells you where I'm at. Shit, I just fought old boy. You know what I mean? In a main event. So then if I'm fighting these guys that are main event in LFA with me, and then he's main event for PFL against a returning UFC champion, shit, I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? Because he's on my resume, not all these other dudes that are out here, you know what I mean, doing the talking. So, like I said, I feel like I'm moving really well because, you know what I mean, he did some dirty shit, but it wasn't like he was out of the fight. You know what I mean? And if you watch the replay from my fight, other than the elbows to the back of the head that he landed when we were standing, you know what I mean, none of his shots were really hurting me. They were just, he was on top of me and I was about to stand up, so he started punching me in the back of the head. And then I just threw my hands up at the ref because, like I said, that's the rules. So I knew the ref was going to stop it, and I was upset that the ref stopped it. Because at the end of the day, man, I knew everybody would be like, oh, this fat guy got lucky, boo, you know what I mean? But they don't know me. They don't know how hard I work. They don't know what it's like to grapple me. So, I mean, anybody wants to stop by, Black Lion, Byron Center, Grand Rapids area, anytime. You know what I'm saying? I'll run. I love rolling. There's one thing you want to do is grappling. I'm a grappling fiend. I'll grapple with anybody. You know what I mean? I'll grapple with your grandma if she asks me to. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Same thing with sparring. I mean, boxing, all that stuff. We're always down to work. I mean, if I got to fight you next week, I'll spar you today. You know what I mean? I don't care. You know what I mean? We're not people to care. So I'm just always down to get better. You know what I mean? That's why these guys, they think I'm a certain way, or, you know, a crybaby, or people try to put this out there. Like, no, man, I've never turned a fight down other than if my life didn't let me. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. You know what I mean? So I don't care if you're ranked top 10 or, you know what I mean? All I see is, you know, me taking these fights against the top guys. My resume looks the way it looks. And even this guy I'm about to fight, his resume, he's got 21-6, but I think his last win, or the fight before his last win, he fought somebody that was 0-0. I don't think I've ever fought anybody that was 0-0. You know what I mean? Like, what? You know what I mean? So it's just like, yeah, I don't care. You know what I mean? Whatever. Obviously, me caring about what people's records are and shit don't matter, because they're signing guys that are like, they're people that they fought are 10-28 all together. You know what I mean? Their last 3 opponents' combined records 10-30 or some shit. Like, so obviously they don't care who you're fighting. They just want you to win. I don't know.
It seems like a lot of the signees are just coming off of like highlight performances more.
Not even that. You just got to sign with the right management company. You know, whose ass do you want to kiss? You know what I mean? And I ain't doing no ass kissing. So sorry about your luck.
That's a huge part of it.
I'll be the bad guy. You know, put me on the thing as the worst agile or the fattest guy in the game, or blah. Say what you want to say about my body, but at the end of the day, I got one of the best records in the world. You know what I mean? My win percentage is crazy. You know I mean, I was 7-1 as an amateur, and I'm 9-1-1 as a pro. And the no contest, I was winning easily. You know what I mean? So once again, if you throw all the rules out, I won that fight again. So, you know what I mean, I feel I'm almost damn near undefeated. So,
yeah. Well, people said so much about Daniel Cormier's body, and he ended up being the double champ. So
yeah, and that's why I say even some of these smaller guys aren't in the greatest shape. That's not, and even guys that look like they're in great shape. You know, this is a fight. This is about your will, who you are mentally, you know, what you do on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? This isn't about what I physically look like. No, this is a fight. You know what I mean? So if you want to know what the purest form of a human being is, come try this shit out, because this is what the most pure form is. You want to really figure out who you are and your mentality, dog. Get in a fight with somebody that's a skilled fighter, and don't run your mouth and say, "Oh, I want to do one round." No, do a full day of training. You know, 13 5-minute rounds like an MMA fighter would do. You know what I mean? Not this, I'm going to stop by and hit a couple rounds and be there for 2 minutes. No, dog, when you get tired, that's when we figure out who you really are. And that's how we train. You know, we train to get each other tired, and when we're tired, it's that guy's job to not let me quit. You know, not let me quit, but beat the shit out of me if I'm too tired. You know what I mean? So, I mean, and that's what makes it so good. Because even when you do lose, I mean, it's not about winning and losing. It's about building you up. You know what I mean? Because that's how you're going to be able to raise kids and walk your wife, you know what I mean, through life when hard situations happen. You know what I mean? People are only going to follow the people that they truly believe in. You know what I mean? And if you got facts that back that up, that's how you're going to be a leader and be able to lead people. And I want to be able to lead my kids, because I feel like a lot of people aren't leading their kids. They're just kind of like letting them go through life. And that's wrong, because then you're setting them up for failure. And I'm not about to do that to my kids. So, or anybody's kids that are around me. You know what I mean? That's why I like to lead all my people, or they help lead me. You know what I mean? Or let's make each other better. That's what it's all about. So, like I said, this fight stuff is a blessing, and I'll keep doing it. But I'm not going to change, you know, my beliefs and who I am based upon, you know, somebody else's belief on what a fighter is.
Yeah. Well, not to keep alluding to the body thing, but I feel like this is one thing that doesn't get brought up enough, especially with the heavyweights, is the fact that 90+% of all the other fighters are going out there cutting severe amounts of weight to get to the actual weight class that they end up fighting at, where heavyweights don't typically do that. So you see what they look like. Where you see like a 155 or a 135, or they have a 6-pack, they have an 8-pack. It's because they cut 30 pounds they walk around at 165.
They do water cuts, you know what I mean? I do diets, you know what I mean? But I also don't diet or try to eat healthy when I'm not in camp, because I don't care. Like I said earlier, I don't care. I'm not. When you start paying me $500,000 or $1 million, we can start talking about what I look like on camera, because now you're paying my bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you're setting up my dreams. But until then, man, if I want a cheeseburger with normal carb bread, dog, I'm about to eat that burger. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, because I've always been a big kid, man, and that's what if I got to be a platform for other chunky kids that never were treated right, then that's what I'll do. You know what I mean? I don't really care. And I told my old lady and a lot of the people in my family when I came into fighting that that's what it was going to be, you know, because I dealt with it in high school with wrestling and all that. But I never had a problem beating anybody, you know what I mean, other than if I didn't put in the work. You know what I mean? And that's just pure honesty. You know what I mean? I never questioned a loss or a win in high school. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like my mom just said, you know what I mean? Mama, we eat. You know what I mean? We eat. You know what I mean? And I don't want to say we eat chocolate or nothing. Like, that wasn't even really a thing. It was meat, potatoes, and we're just big. We're all big people in my family. I don't even want to say big as in like fat. You know, my brother Malcolm's 5'7", 200 pounds, but the dude's bench pressing 350, 400 pounds. You know what I mean? He's just we're all athletes. We're all big genetics, and I'm not gonna stop that. You know what I mean? Everybody always talks about maybe go to 205, but you know, I don't cut, but dude, I walk around 310, you know what I mean, on a good day. You know what I mean? So I'm not no little heavyweight. That's why I say you throw a 230 dude in there against me, I'm all game for that, because that's like a little bone. You know what I mean? I'm gonna pick old boy up, spinning around, set him on the ground, and show him what a real heavyweight's like. You know what I mean? And that's what a lot of these dudes are feeling. You know what I mean? That are grappling with me now. That's just the whole dude. You're talking about a whole nother 100 pounds. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm a chunky guy, but yeah, that's all BS. Goes out the door when I'm on top of you. You know what I'm saying? Because now that's 100 pounds of extra weight just laying on top of you, and he knows what he's doing with it. Fat or not, he will roll around real good, real nice.
All right, so you started talking burgers, man. You're talking my language. So if we're eating burgers, what the hell is going to be on the burger, and where are we getting it from?
I like to. I mean, I'll eat any type of burger. To be honest with you, man, I love cooking my own burgers. You know what I mean? I like to cook food. I love cooking. I like venison a lot. Ooh. You know what I mean? So I'll do like a venison burger. I actually, if we're getting real, you know what I mean, real chef-like, and I'm trying to show out for some friends or something, I'll pre-cook up some bacon if everybody likes bacon. Then I'll chop it up real small, throw it in my raw hamburger, pack them up real nice. You know what I mean? Grill them up, maybe a little butter or something. You know what I mean? Nothing special. Like I said, burgers are real simple. You know what I mean? Little seasoning. So I'm a country kid, so nothing special. You know what I mean? Burgers and dogs all day for me. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I'm real simple like that, too. I mean, mine's also got to do with the fact that I got Crohn's disease, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, dude, I keep it real simple. You just give me a burger, give me some, I don't like that pepper jack cheese shit.
No, I'll make American cheese or cheddar.
Right.
I'll
like, give me
jack, but like last resort.
Right, you know, give me some American cheese. I personally like a little bit of barbecue sauce on it. Give me some barbecue sauce, some bacon.
Like I'm not a big barbecue fan, but
man, I love barbecue sauce, man. Hell, Wingstop needs to sponsor us. Hey, Wingstop, if you're listening, I eat a lot of Wingstop. Just ask the location on Telegraph Road next to the Rite Aid in Taylor. I'm just saying, if y'all need some free advertisement, I'll eat some wings on the air.
Hey,
but
I'm always down for food sponsors. Always. I'll never turn you away.
Hey, man, it's worked out a couple times. I mean, I'm kind of upset because Marty Bell didn't pay up on her bet. She owed us a pitcher of beer at Mission Pro Wrestling, and it didn't happen because Jorge Masvidal got knocked out. Yeah, so she was on a show with him on Telemundo, and we bet I was like, we should bet a loser's got to buy a drink at Mission Pro Wrestling, and she goes, no, let's bet a pitcher, pay up now. And I was like, hey, Marty, what happened though? What happened though? And she didn't pay up. I was like, what the fuck, man?
Hey,
I pay up on my bets, hence the creation of Weed Guys Fried Chicken. But I mean, Marty, you didn't pay up. But I mean, it was all good because I still won $185 off that fight. So we was all good.
Hey, and better hope there's a midget wrestling where you run into him at. But where my beer at? You know
I know, right? And I even said something too, and she was like, she was gone after the show, but it was just funny as hell, man. But with that being said, talking about the show and all that stuff, you know, you mentioned that you've been getting into some of the MLB the Show. First of all, when are we going to get at it? Because I want the smoke. And second of all, if we're playing, who do you like to rock with on MLB The Show?
Oh, I'm always a Tigers fan. Always a Tigers fan. You know what I mean?
But you're playing with the Tigers, though?
Winning or losing. Like I said, I'm a Michigan boy. I always rock the Michigan. You know
I like it and I respect it, sir, because boy, did they do us dirty on the stats in that joint.
Hey, and that's why I say maybe we can keep bringing some more athletes out of this little old state, and they'll give us some more respect over there on the other side. But and like I said, I don't play too many video games. I play a little Call of Duty here and there. I play the show with my boys up north here and there. But maybe after this fight, I'll have to practice up, get a couple games in, and we'll get together.
Hey, we can get at it. We can get at it. Corey, fuck you too with that big shit eating grin over there in the corner. All right.
But you didn't win.
Throne,
I'll never forget it. But you did.
Look here, bitch. The show don't go on all night. We can get at it tonight.
Hey, he says I'm on it.
The show don't go all night. We can get at it tonight, bro. I'll throw it up there on the live for the listeners to see. But that's another story for another time.
There you go.
Let's talk about that. So before we get into your final thoughts about your fight, are you watching the fights this weekend with UFC 262? And if so, who is the big dog rocking with?
Which one's this weekend? Remind me. I'm sorry.
Oliveira Chandler fight.
Okay. Yup. That's tough. That's so tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because I like Chandler based upon who he is outside of the cage, not even when we get. You know what I mean? So I'd like to see him come in and get the gold, but it's so hard to go against Oliveira just because he's been such a promotional guy. Not that because I like the UFC, because I really don't like the UFC that much. You know what I mean? To be honest, I mean, I like them. I'll watch the fights, you know what I mean? And I like certain people and all that, but I like fighters, you know what I mean? So that's why I like the UFC, because they got a lot of good fighters, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you think about Oliveira's career, the dude deserved a title shot many, many fights ago. He deserved tougher fights many, many fights ago. You know what I mean? So it's good to see him get his chance at gold. But at the same time, it's not really a great guy for him to get it against.
No,
you know what I mean, because Michael Chandler's as tough as they come. He's been in 100 fucking world title fights. And that's one thing about him. He's coming from a promotion where they took good care of him. You know what I mean? And they made him kind of a popular guy. He made himself a popular guy. So, I mean, he's kind of coming in and fighting a veteran in a veteran spot. You know what I mean? So, I feel like it's tougher for Oliveira to get the W just because Chandler's grappling's so good. You know what I mean? But maybe he'll surprise me. But if I had to put some money on it, I'd probably go with Chandler. I'd lean towards Chandler. Early rounds.
See, I'm kind of with you too, but something in me wants to see Oliveira win because
Oliveira's so good. Like I said, the dude's been winning for years. It's so hard to go against people like Khabib, man. Think about Khabib. Khabib don't even have as many wins in the UFC as Oliveira does, but like I said, same type of thing. The dude's 8-9-0. It's so hard to bet against somebody that's like that. You know what I mean? Oliveira's had a few slip-ups, but at the end of the day, he's one of the most consistent fighters in the game, and he's got a hell of a lot of finishes, whether it's submissions or KOs. You know what I mean? The dude's as tough as they come. He just didn't get a lot of respect.
Yeah.
See, I say that because at first, when I first saw Oliveira, I was a little salty towards Oliveira because I remember when he fought Miles and motherfucker missed weight when they fought.
Yep.
It was talking all that good shit before the fight and then comes in there and misses weight. And then Miles was doing good till he got caught. Like that's the old story in MMA. So all respect to him. But at first glance, I wasn't the biggest fan of Oliveira.
Well,
but
that's what
like you said, though, after you watch a guy win and get better and better and better and better and better and better, because the thing is, now, you know, at first I feel like Oliveira was purely known as the jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, we've seen that the dude will throw hands with people. Mm-hmm. He'll kick your head off if he needs to.
And he's outstriking people. You know what I mean? He's outstriking a lot of guys. So, I mean, like I said, he's as tough as they come. And that's why I say it's. And that's what sucks about MMA. You know what I mean? It's one of those sports where sometimes you're forced not to like guys because of who they're fighting or who, you know what I mean? That's just what the sport is. So you're not like wrong for saying, oh, I didn't like him, because shit, I wouldn't like somebody if he was fighting my boy and showed up overweight neither. But shit, I've done it. You know what I mean? Oops.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Fuck it. But at the end of the day, we're all fighters. And that's why I say and that's at the pinnacle of the sport, like Chandler. It's so hard to pick against these guys because you respect them so much. because you know what it takes, and you know what I mean. What comes, you don't ever want to see anybody's dreams crushed, whether you like them or not. You know what I mean?
Right, and not to mention, like you said,
you know what I mean?
a guy who wins like that and continues to evolve each time he fights, like you can't not like a guy like that.
Yep, exactly.
How do you not like a guy like that? Like I said, I may not have liked him off of that first, that first impression, but after you watch him after that, you can't say that this dude hasn't deserved to be in the title picture forever. And then let's think about this hypothetically too. I mean, you've got Dustin versus Conor coming up. So essentially whoever wins that fight is going to fight whoever wins this fight. I mean, to me, Oliveira versus either one of them makes a pretty fun matchup to me. Not that I'm saying
Chandler
I think
too,
that Oliveira can win him, but
and Chandler too, and that's what I say. Fuck belts, man. Like definitely in that weight class. You throw those 5 dudes in a tournament, the same dude ain't gonna win the tournament once. I don't care if Khabib's in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? Throw him in there 5 times. I bet Khabib ends up with a loss. You know what I'm saying? At some point in time, maybe not, but maybe. Yeah, but I'm just saying. But if you take Khabib out of there, definitely you got Justin Gaethje, Poirier, Chandler, Oliveira, McGregor. You know what I mean? And shoot, McGregor on my list is 5. I'm sorry, I'm just not a McGregor hype. Like I said, I'm a real fighter, y'all. A real fighter. So
I'm with you.
I'm not one of those. Let me act like I'm sleeping. Oh, I tapped out. You know what I mean? Nah, nope.
Hey, we appreciate you.
I like Dustin. I like Chandler. I like all those guys. You know what I mean? I like McGregor. Good for what he did, but you know what I mean? Take all that money shit and throw it out the door because, like I said, us real fighters want to talk about real fights and you know what I mean, not talking about how a leg kick, you know what I mean, is something new that's in the arsenal. Motherfucking calf kicks has been around for 20 years. Check it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, get on. Got your ass whooped. You better show up to this one or you get your ass whooped again. You know what I mean? I don't like guys that make excuses and all that other BS. Like I said, I don't care how much money you got. You better show up and fight because that's what us real fighters want. We just want to see good fights. So, and that's, like I said, F belts because the UFC did that to themselves. You know what I mean? People don't want belts. They want certain fights because there's grudge matches and there's other BS. You can't tell me Dustin's only reason he wanted that McGregor fight was the money, but I'm sure it was part of the reason. You know what I mean? Like I just said. You know what I mean? If you offer me 10, 15 grand one way, I'm probably going to take off. So.
It's crazy the fact that that match is outweighed and the fact that Dana's even defending it. Like, yeah, it's a smart move by Poirier to take the fight with Conor again over fighting for our promotion's biggest prize you can win. Like, what do you mean that's the more money fight? What is all of a sudden you giving Poirier pay-per-view points or something and he's not a champ? Like, what? How is that? How are you telling me you're going to pay the man more money to fight Conor, who he already got a victory over, than you are to fight for the actual thing that everybody's supposed to be holding
right? And
so
exactly.
high?
And if they were doing it right, they'd have that control. But they ain't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they did such a bad buildup of Conor being better than Dustin into that second fight. It probably left a sour-ass taste in Dustin's mouth because you heard his old lady after the fight. If you want to know how a fighter feels about somebody, dude, you always pay attention to the wives or the girlfriends because they're going to tell you straight. She said, I told you, as she pointed into the camera. That wasn't for her. That was for him. You know what I mean? And I know that because my old lady would do the same damn thing for me. So he wants this fight because he wants to shut that boy up. No matter how much money that boy makes, I'm 2 for 1. You know what I mean? I shut him up. I knocked him out twice. Whether he wants to say it was calf kicks or all this other BS, you know, at the end of the day, I outmanned you in the fight. You know what I mean? Because that's what really matters. So the UFC did that to themselves with the way they built up that fight because they didn't give Dustin the respect he deserved in the buildup of that fight. You're talking about a dude cutting all of his muscle off to fight somebody. You know what I mean? McGregor's a little bit more lean than what Dustin is, dude. Dustin's big. He's a thick boy. You know what I mean? So when Dustin was cutting 45, he was killing himself. That's why you see him doing so well at 55. So, and I've always been a Dustin fan. You know what I mean? So, like I said, I picked Dustin to win that fight exactly how he won that fight. So,
did you ever see the Fightland thing they did on him back in the day on Showtime?
Yep.
Yeah, I've been watching him since back then, dude. Like I said, I'm just like you.
There's a few guys, you know, like I said, I don't get starstruck. There's not like people, you know what I mean? To be honest with you, I was thinking the other day, if there's one person I would want to hang out with just to see, it would be Shaq and his family. Like, that's how goofy I am. You know what I mean? Just based upon, like, videos I've seen of his sons and all of his cousins and stuff hanging out. They just seem like a cool family. But like I said, I don't get like starstruck or nothing like that. I just like people. You know what I mean? So, all fighters are cool fighters to me.
Hey, shout out to Mr. Thunder Rosa in the comments saying knockouts and 3 counts rock. No, Mission Pro Wrestling rocks. If you guys are pro wrestling fans, I mean, it's all female pro wrestling. And I'm not just saying this because we sponsored MPW Locked and Loaded, which you can watch on the Title Match Network. But I'm telling you, the match between Holodead and Genocide, hot damn it, they beat the shit out of each other. It was a great match. I'm not just saying it because we were a sponsor. If you like hard-hitting stuff, which if you're watching this, I assume you are because we're talking to an MMA fighter, go ahead and check that out. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. But, hey, man, we've kept you for quite a while. So now that we've got your thoughts on the main event, before we get your last thoughts on your fight, what do you think about Tony Ferguson coming back? You think if he takes another loss, are we talking about retirement for him like we have been about Cowboy?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Everybody out here hoeing on, who cares? You know what I mean? Let these men go out how they
That's
want
what
to
I'm
go
saying.
out. So what's the guy supposed to do after he gets his belt? Like Khabib, he's supposed to retire and then start fighting for XFC or PFL? Like, yeah, I mean, what are these guys supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, if they were taking easy fights, they'd be, bums and punks. But since these guys are still in the meat of the meat, getting beat, retire, you old bomb. You know what I mean?
I'm with you, man.
Like half these people could even touch their toes. You know what I mean? And that's why I say my heart just hurts for those guys. You know, because they don't deserve that kind of treatment. And that's why I say the world makes it so easy for idiots and clowns and punks to have an opinion, and it is what it is. But I hope Tony does well. You know what I mean, for himself, because I know some of Tony's people. And some of my friends know Tony's family. You know what I mean? Tony's a Michigan boy, like I just said. So I'm always going to rock with Michigan. So I'm always hoping real well for but that dude he's fighting is as tough as they come. He's kind of like a dark horse. You know, people don't really know much about him, but he's got some heavy hands and his grappling's legit. So hopefully Tony shows up. And Tony always gives us a show, man. Whether he's as goofy as he comes or as normal as Norm, he's he always gives us a show, and that's what we should appreciate. So.
Hey, I'm hoping we get the old Tony Ferg back, man. Like you said, I mean, him being a Michigan boy, and hell, him and Miles were on the Ultimate Fighter until Miles blew out his knee.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's right. I forgot about.
I mean, I've been loving watching Tony Ferguson since he came in on Ultimate Fighter and all that shit.
Oh yeah,
so
Tony, and like I said, that's another guy that built his whole. And that's why I say these guys are treating Cowboy like he's some. You know what I mean? He made the UFC the UFC. You know what I mean? Tony Ferguson made the UFC the UFC. These guys are freaking. You know what I mean? These guys should be riding around on, you know what I mean, stallions getting paid money just to be at the fights. Instead, they're trying to take fights with young stallions, like Dana said, guys that are trying to get in the top 15. You know, hungry young prospects, and you know what I mean, hoping to God they don't get knocked out in the first 5 minutes, because before the first 5 minutes is up, it's really, dude, who's stronger and who's, you know what I mean, who's got the more healthy body. I mean, like that. Let's not lie to each other. Definitely at that weight class,
especially a guy like Cowboy, a guy who's banged it out with that many people.
Yeah, he got 50-something fights. You know what I mean? So like, leave the guy alone. Nobody understands unless you live it. You know what I mean? And that's
completely agree.
It's cool that Dana said he's going to give him another fight at 55. Because like Cowboy said, he didn't want no fight at 70, but that's what Diego wanted. So he was just trying to do that for himself. And like I said, that was a platform Diego created, and Diego was about to eat his words. You know what I mean? So that's a weird situation, but we'll leave that as that.
No, I totally agree with you, bro.
I'm glad you brought it up.
Hang on,
if you want to leave the hanging upside down, where it's at, I'm okay with that too. I mean, that video, man,
Peter,
the
what did
whole
Keith Peterson
thing
post?
around the whole thing, man. You talk about a legend letting their career go down.
Oh, did you
man.
see
That's
the Spider-Man post? The Spider-Man post
Yeah.
kissing. Oh, dude.
With his
arm. Oh, dude. I'm just. I can't.
Dude, that shit. Have you been implementing that in your training lately?
We do some up down, and that's what I said. Maybe I need to hit Dana up with some Diego videos. I was just talking about this with my manager. You know, you're like, my buddy is top 15. You know, and you can't meet with me. You know what I mean? I'm in Vegas. You know, for his fights, and I'm right here, Dana, and you can't meet with me. You know what I mean? Like So
Because that's going to work good.
Yeah, right. I should try that next time. But no, it is what it is. Like I said, it's just a weird sport. And like I said, I feel for Diego. Because, dude, to be honest, I understand, dude, because I want to cry sometimes thinking about how some of these fucking promoters come at me. You know what I mean? I got offered $500 to show up to a fight the other day. I was like, what? Yeah, I mean, like, dude, I fought for that my pro debut. And sorry, some guys are fighting for that. Good for them, but like, not me. Shit, you know what I mean? Like, dude, you're talking about you can't even. I can't even buy a car for that no more. You know what I mean? Let alone doing that. That's not even a stimulus check. Fuck, you know, I'd rather be on fucking unemployment.
I feel like fight purses are not going to be judged by, is it at least worth my damn stimmy check? If it's not worth my stimmy check, then I'm not getting in the cage.
Yeah, I'll just call unemployment. Oh, Jesus.
Son of a bitch. We have gone off the rails, so before I let this go any more into a shit show, please, before we get out of here, you know, any last thoughts about your fight as we go into May 28th? Let everybody know where they can check it out. And for any of our anybody watching, listening, however you're consuming this, thank you. Hit that subscribe button. Let them know what they're in store for come May 28th on Fox.
Yeah, it's on Fox Sports 2 and Fox Sports Deportes, May 28th. You know, shout out to my opponent. Like I said, I hope his camp goes well, and I know he'll show up ready to put on a show. And for everybody watching, you already know what you're about to get when I show up. You know what I mean? That's a lot more improved now, and I think it was like 20 months away from the cage. So, like I said, just get ready to get back in there and you know, show what we've been working on our feet and on the ground, if that's where it gets. But I don't care where it goes. So, appreciate you having me and everybody watching and all the support always.
I mean, Corey, I think that pretty much sums it up. We're going to have to hook this man up with Weed Guys Fried Chicken after the fight. And we'll be sitting all pretty. So, like I said, make sure you're back here this Thursday, 9 p.m. as we do our full UFC 262 preview. And next Thursday, do we got a return for you? Thursday at 9 p.m., we have the return of the WOD, the Weapon of Ass Destruction. Yeah, that's right. You heard it. The Weapon of Ass Destruction. Make sure that you don't miss it. If you saw anything from Mission Pro Wrestling, you know that this is an episode you won't want to miss. So until next time and in the in-between time, peace.